This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh. I think we know that, but it's okay to be saying it, I think, every single day of this radio show's life. Yes, you are correct. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Even on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday, that is March the 11th of 2026. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, so how's the last 24 hours or so been for you? Hopefully it's been a grandioso time as we have been hanging out and doing all of the stuff, between now and doing the stuff that we're doing today. So that's always important in regards of getting everything set up, of course. So what do you think? Just asking because I wanted to make sure that we were all copacetic, if one may put it that way, in regards to the stuff that is going on. So with that being said, let's talk about this. Our show is consistent of safety in the news and safety. That's kind of just really how we go about doing things, so don't worry about anything along those lines. It is Whip 'em Out Wednesday, so makes it a very interesting thing in regards to how we do our stuff today. There is a little interaction you can do on the screen if you want. And when it ends up taking place is this. Go to callinradio.com. Audio, video, and text messaging are the options. For some reason, people go a little bonkers today with the text messaging, and that's fine. And then it gives me a little prompt on the screen on what's going on. Then I kind of know where to go with the show. That's just kind of how it goes. During the rest of the time, we are kind of going through the whole plethora of things. Looking at what is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So with that being said, as I go here, there, and everywhere, when I come back and start talking about everything else, we kind of go, oh, this could work. Oh, that could work. Oh, that could not work. That kind of stuff. So with that being said, here's what we should do. Over the next little bit, you can go to callinradio.com, interact with the show. I will get some people set up from Feature Story News for them to come in and tell us about what the hell's going on with the news stories. And then after they're done, we'll do our normal thing, and then I'll come back with the main story towards the middle side of the actual show. And we'll run with it. What do you think? Is that good enough for you? If it's good enough for you, I think it's good enough for me, and we can run from there. So with that being said, I have my friends from Feature Story News ready to go. So let's go ahead and bring them in, and let's see how this whole thing gets started.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. The war in Iran has entered one of its most intense phases yet, with the US and Israel dramatically escalating airstrikes across the country. US military officials said that Tuesday marked the heaviest day of bombing since the conflict began 2 weeks ago. That seems to contradict US President Donald Trump's assessment that the war is, quote, very complete, before saying the US hasn't won enough. Tony Waterman is in Washington, D.C.
The timeline for this war has really shifted in the last 48 hours, from 4 to 6 weeks to now very complete. At least that is what President Trump is saying. And his team spent much of Tuesday reframing their messaging to mirror that of the president's. Both Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said it would be up to President Trump to decide when this war is over, when Iran has reached a place of unconditional surrender, which is what the president is demanding. His shortening of the timeline, though, comes as petrol prices here in the U.S. surge, up 16 cents a liter since this war began. And this is a very sensitive issue for American voters, and an issue that the president obsesses over. He often points out how much cheaper petrol is now than it was under former President Joe Biden. And after Trump said that the war was nearly over, we did see oil prices drop. He's also going full throttle on potential retribution, saying that if Iran does anything to stop the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will hit them 20 times harder than they've been hit thus far.
The rising cost of oil could outweigh the benefits of President Trump's tax cuts from his signature Big Beautiful Bill, according to new analysis. The Strait of Hormuz, where a fifth of the world's oil passes through, is effectively closed while the conflict in the Middle East continues. Mitch McCann has more.
The price of oil has been rising since the conflict in the Middle East started, with shipping companies steering clear of the Strait of Hormuz. According to CNBC, the Raymond James analysis applies an increase in oil market prices to the amount of money consumers spent on gas last year. It says a $20 move in oil prices could mean an extra $150 billion is spent at the petrol pump, while the estimated savings from the Big Beautiful Bill are $129 billion.
India, meanwhile, has invoked emergency measures to divert gas supplies from non-priority sectors to key users. A bulk of India's gas supply comes via the Strait of Hormuz, in a country that meets about 60% of its consumption needs through imports. So as India works to increase domestic production and source supplies from alternative markets, it says it's prioritizing the use of gas by households and the automobile sector. This as we've seen long queues across Indian cities, with hotels saying they're facing the risk of closure if the situation doesn't improve. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at the possibility of President Trump engaging in a military de-escalation in Iran and leaving the country's ruling clerical regime in place. That is certainly one option, although many others also exist. But is it possible for him to engage in a Venezuela-style arrangement where he works with the government left in place following the killing of Iran's supreme leader? Sir John Sawyers is the former chief of Secret British Intelligence Service MI6.
The regime is intact, even if their military capability is largely destroyed. And I think this is going to have a radicalizing effect. I mean, the new supreme leader has seen his father killed, his mother killed, his wife killed, and his son killed when US planes struck Libya in 1986 and killed members of Gaddafi's family. A year later, the Libyan plot brought down Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. Revenge is a dish best eaten cold and sometime after the issue that you're revenging for. Now, at some point, a future leader of Iran is going to have to face up to the predicament that the country faces, the collapsed economy, a failed defense strategy, a failed revolution, really, and being hated by the majority of the population.
The timeline for any effort to wrap the conflict up seems to be very elastic, with US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying on Tuesday only President Trump can determine whether we're at the beginning, the middle, or the end. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. Iran launches missiles at Israel, says it's targeting military bases there as well as American targets in the region, including in Iraq. Tel Aviv says it's targeted Iran and Lebanon as well as the war enters one of its most intense phases yet. The US claims it has destroyed 16 mine-laying Iranian ships as US President Donald Trump has warned Tehran against laying mines in the Strait of Hormuz. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punya reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Hey, you take care of the big bowl at Captain Crunch. We'll take care of the music.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, here we go. 14 minutes past the top of the hours. You and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Okay, so let's get into it and start talking right away about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news, because that's kind of what we do around here. We talk about some interesting stuff. So take a listen to this. A man in England got a scare of his life after waking up completely blue from head to toe and ended up in the hospital because of it. Tommy Lynch, a 42-year-old construction worker, thought that something was seriously wrong after he felt extremely tired and noticed that his entire body had turned bright blue. A friend who works as a caregiver took one look at him and rushed him to the Queen's Hospital, Burton, where doctors quickly put him in oxygen and began running tests. The mystery was solved when the doctor wiped Lynch's arm with rubbing alcohol, and the wipe turned blue. Turns out that the color came from a new navy bedsheet that he had slept on for 2 nights without washing them first. The dye had rubbed off to his skin while he slept. Lynch said that the hospital staff got a good laugh out of it, although he was pretty embarrassed. It took about a week of baths for that blue tint to fully wash off. Doctors thought that they had discovered the first real-life Smurf. I remember a long time ago buying for some jeans for my wife. And, she turned blue like a Smurf, and we at first couldn't figure out what the hell was going on until we realized what it was. And I think that those jeans were washed several times before, so that just tells you some of the strength of some of the ink that they put on some of these things. So just to think about as we are talking. Okay, take a listen to this one, because this one where it's going to get some
interesting times.
A fishing tournament in Texas turned into a cheating scandal after a competitor allegedly tried to tip the scale, literally. During bass tournament in Lake Fork, fisherman Curtis Lee Daniels initially won 2 hourly prizes totaling $2,500, but officials became suspicious and ran a metal detector over one of the largemouth bass that he had submitted. When they opened the fish, they found 3/4 ounce weight stuffed inside of the stomach. Investigators later found similar sinkers on Daniel's boat, suggesting the fish had been tampered with to make it weigh more. The tournament was part of an event connected to Big Bass Splash, which is about $100,000 of prize money up for grabs. Daniels lost the winnings and was arrested, now facing third-degree felony that could bring 2 to 10 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. Okay, so let me talk. Let's talk about this, because I need to understand. So there's a contest, and you decide that you want to play the game because it's all about the game. And then all of a sudden, you say, "Hey, I got some trickery that I would like to do," allegedly, and put some weight inside of a fish, for I could potentially win $2,500. Is that what they said? $2,500. Okay, so $2,500. But I'm discovered, and now I have the potential of going to jail for 2 to 10 years. And I have to pay up to $10,000 in fines. I mean, I don't know if logistically this makes any sense whatsoever. So there you go. I don't know. Some things to think about. Okay, so take a listen to this. A teenager in Arizona recently reunited with the firefighter who saved his life after a devastating accident last year. The kid was just 13 when he was struck by a pickup truck while riding his bike in August of 2025 in Glendale, Arizona. When crews from Glendale Fire Department arrived, the situation looked grim. The truck's tire was pinned directly on his chest. Firefighters quickly went to work lifting the truck off of him, inserting the needles into his ribs to restore airflow to his lungs and freeing his legs that were tangled by the bicycle. When the weight was finally removed, the teen took a breath, encouraging signs after the first responders feared that it might be a fatal situation. At the time, the local newspaper even mistakenly reported that the kid had died. Months later, now 14, the old freshman at Mountain Ridge High School walked into the fire station and personally thanked the crew who saved him. Firefighters said that the moment was incredibly meaningful because they rarely get to see what happens to patients after they're taken to the hospital. The kid who has recovered from the accident told the firefighters that he wouldn't be alive without them, and said that the experience has inspired him to become a doctor someday so that he could save lives too. So there you go. Some inspirational stuff as we are talking. So there you go. Okay, so we have to do it because, anytime that it comes up, it has to happen.
WTF. Welcome to Florida.
A guy dining in Casa Neos in Miami was shocked when he checked his receipt and saw a $3 charge for ketchup. Content creator Sam E. Goldberg posted a video showing the bill after ordering a burger and fries and pointing that the ketchup usually comes free with the meal. Instead, the restaurant charged him a small bottle of Heinz ketchup, a mini glass bottle that restaurants can buy in bulk for about $1 each. The rest of the menu cheap. It wasn't cheap either. Burgers were $29, salmon burger was $27, avocado toast $21, and a Diet Coke was $7. The situation sparked debate. Most people said that charging for basic condiments is ridiculous, while a new argued that it paid for a sealed bottle that nobody else touched. Industry surveys say that 80% of customers refuse to pay extra for condiments, and many say that they'd simply leave the restaurant instead. For the $3 ketchup, better sing Sweet Caroline while you pour it, because holy crap, are you serious? And would you like ketchup? Sure. Do you take installment payments? Or for $3, ketchup better age in oak barrel like whiskey. And at this point, the bottle could have come with its own, wine connoisseur. Pretty soon, waiters are going to say, would you like oxygen with the meal? Because that's where we're getting to as of late. So there you go. Talking about food, I saw this one, and I thought it was kind of weird. So I don't know if we should play the clip first or if we should do the clip afterwards. So a viral TikTok debate says that your pizza topping might reveal your personality and your morals. Content creator S. Hewitt sparked a discussion in a video that racked up nearly 500,000 views, claiming that people who insist on loading their pizza meat could be showing lack of empathy for animals and environment. She argues that refusing to occasionally skip meat, even something like veggie burger, signals selflessness, pointing to issues like rainforest destruction and industrial farming. According to her, meat-heavy pizza orders could even hint at toxic masculinity and obsession that some people may have with getting enough protein. The idea blew up in the comments, with some viewers agreeing that diet choices reflect personal values, while others thought the theory was just hogwash. Take a listen to this.
And I think that, the way that people view meat as a whole, especially like the idea of not getting enough protein, that really reminds me of like toxic masculinity. Whenever I'd go on dates with men and they'd find out that I was veggie, they'd be so shocked at like where I was getting my protein from. But I do think there is a correlation between attitudes of meat and women and the environment and empathy and just what kind of person you are.
Okay, so are we getting to the point where we're trying to say everything's interconnected? So if meat on pizza is a red flag, my local pizzeria is basically the United Nations on bad decisions, is what it sounds like. And apparently ordering meat lovers pizza now means you are also hate dolphins and kick puppies, is what it sounds like. I mean, what do you think here? Do you think that she's onto something, or do you think that she's off her rocker when it's all said and done? So there you go. By the way, some comments coming in, so I just want to make sure that I reference this again. Yes, you are absolutely correct. It is not all about safety. We talk about other
nuances
on this show because, listen, the way that we do the stuff here is we talk a little bit about everything, because if you go into a meeting and only talk about safety, guess what you've done?
You lost them all.
You lost everybody inside of the room, because they're not going to give a the moment you start talking about that by itself. Just kind of the way that it goes. Just wanted to throw that out there. Some people get all gung-ho and tied up about this stuff. It's like, listen, dude, or dudette, we talk a little bit about everything because it's important to do so. We just can't be, just talking about one thing. But it's called the Rated R Safety Show. I gotcha. I understand. I named the damn thing. I think I kind of understand what you're saying. So there you go. Okay, so let's start going into some other news that is going on inside of the world, because that's what we do around here. So a judge has denied a new trial for Jose Ibra, the man convicted in a 2024 murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. H. Patrick Haggard, a Superior Court judge in Clark County, ruled that the evidence against Ibarra was overwhelmingly and powerful, rejecting the defense request for another trial. Jose is currently serving life in prison without the possibility of parole. His attorney have argued that constitutional rights were violated before the trial. They claim that the court should have allowed more time for the defense experts to review the DNA evidence and should have excluded certain cell phone evidence presented by the prosecutors. Riley was found dead near an intramural fields on the campus of the University of Georgia in February of 2024. Jose was arrested, convicted, and sentenced within months. The case drew national attention and became part of the immigration debate during the 2024 election. President Donald Trump later signed the Laken Riley Act, a law allowing federal authorities to detain certain immigrants arrested for nonviolent crimes such as theft or burglary. Jose's legal team has 30 days to appeal the judge's decision. So there you go. Listen, I'm not saying don't fight it or don't do anything, but man, 30 days to appeal what you already got turned down for when you came back the first time. It's going to get weird. That's the way that it always seems, for sure, as we are talking. What do you think about this one? Because it's going to be definitely some interesting times as more conversations come about it. No doubt there. I mean, it's always a strange thing.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so take a listen to this. A retired NASA spacecraft is about to make an unscheduled return to Earth. The Van Allen Probe A 1,300-pound launch by NASA in 2012 was expected to re-enter Earth atmospheres yesterday evening after nearly 14 years in orbit. Scientists said that it would have come down around 7:45 Eastern time, and that's in the evening, just in case, though the timing could shift by as much as 24 hours because the satellites will be moving extremely high speed and re-entry window is wide. Experts can't predict exactly where the debris might land. Most of the spacecraft is expected to burn up during the re-entry, but a piece could survive the trip through the atmosphere. Officials say that the risk of anyone being injured is extremely small, about 1 in 4,200. And since the oceans cover about 90%, listen to me, 70% of the Earth, any surviving fragments are most likely going to splash down in the water. The satellite mission actually ended in 2019 and was originally expected to stay in orbit until 2034. But increased solar activity during the current solar cycle created more atmospheric drag, pulling it down years earlier than predicted. So there you go. So let's see. You're off by timing by 8 years. Holy shit. That gets crazy quick when we start talking about it. So what do you think? So there you go. There you go. Okay, so let's talk about this one. Police in New York are investigating a suspicious device yesterday near Gracie Mansion, the home of the mayor. Authorities cleared the Carl Schultz Park around lunchtime after the Parks Department employee reported the package. The NYPD bomb squad examined and determined the device was not hazardous, though officials say that it will undergo additional testing. Police have not confirmed whether the incident is connected to a separate attack outside of the mayor's home on Saturday when two men allegedly threw improvised explosive devices at a group of anti-Islamist protesters nearby. The suspect, Amir Balet, 18, and Abrab Kajumi, 19, both from Pennsylvania, are facing multiple terrorism-related charges, including using a weapon of mass destruction and transporting explosive material. According to the U.S. Department, the men told investigators they carried out an attack in support of ISIS If convicted, they could face life in prison. So we'll see what exactly happens there. We'll be on the lookout for that news story. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about, should we talk about this one first? Let's talk about this one. So there you go. Might find this one interesting. Donald Trump has appointed Erica Kirk to the United States Air Force Academy Board of Visitors, filling the seat previously held by her late husband, Charlie Kirk. The board acts similarly to a board of trustees and is responsible for reviewing major issues in the United States Air Force Academy, including morale, discipline, curriculum, equipment, and finances. 6 of the board members are appointed by the president, while the remaining 9 are chosen by congressional leaders. Other members include Lady Mullen, Dina Powell, and Tommy Tuberwell. Erica Kirk, 37, became CEO of Turning Point USA after her husband's death and has remained active conservative in political circles. Supporters say that the appointment allows her to continue her husband's work, influencing and supporting the next generation of U.S. military leaders. The board meets several times each year to evaluate conditions at the academy and addresses issues affecting cadets, training, and leadership development. So there you go. What do you think? I think it's an interesting one. I mean, I don't know. So they're appointed by the president. Kind of an interesting standpoint. So you have 6 appointed by the president, 9 that are appointed, 9 appointed by other people. It gets interesting because I'm not 100% sure how you would have a civilian to be able to determine this. Like, what is the credentials or what are the requirements to make it there? I'm just asking the question because I don't understand it. So don't take it all weird and stuff when we start talking about this, because that's for sure. It's kind of a weird time when you start thinking about some of these things because you never know what's going to happen.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. That's some stuff going on right there. No doubt about that. Take a listen to this one real quick. The U.S. military says that it carried out strikes on Iranian boats suspected of preparing to lay naval mines near one of the world's most important oil routes. According to the United States Central Command, forces hit 16 Iranian vessels believed to be capable of laying mines near the Strait, a narrow passage that carries about 20% of the world's oil shipment. Video released by the military shows hitting 9 boats while they were tied up on docks. Though officials didn't say exactly when the footage was recorded, on Truth Social, Donald Trump said that the U.S. had completely destroyed 10 inactive mine-laying boats, warning that if Iran places mines in the strait, that it doesn't remove them immediately, the military response would be severe. It's still unclear how many mines may have already been in the water. Reports suggest that a few dozen mines have been deployed in recent days, though officials haven't confirmed exactly when they were placed. The strait, which links Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea along the Iran's southern coast, long has been a flashpoint. Since fighting began on February the 28th, tankers traffic through the area is largely halted due to security concerns, pushing global oil prices and U.S. gasoline costs even higher. So there you go. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, and I think it's time to do that thing that we do now. Let's go ahead and get into our main story, because it seems like it's the right time to do that.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so main story time? Does it sound like about right? Yeah, main story time. So let's talk about the mask. Yeah, I'm not talking about the Jim Carrey movie. I'm not talking about the N95 ones or the half-face respirators that you issue out of supply cage. I'm talking about the psychological Kevlar that you strap onto your face every single morning in the parking lot before you walk through the glass doors of your facility. We all do it. You know what I'm talking about. You turn off the ignition, you take a deep breath, and you bury whatever is actually happening in your life, and you bury the crumbling marriage, you bury the fact that your kid is struggling in school, you bury the mounting credit card debt, the depression, the sheer unadulterated exhaustion of just trying to survive a world that is getting more and more expensive and more chaotic by every hour. And you take that raw, messy, bleeding human reality and you shove it down to a dark box. And then you slap on that face, that fake agreeable smile. You walk in at 7 a.m. production meeting and you play the character that they pay you to play. You become the
company man.
And you become the team player. And absolutely the sickest part of the whole charade, the executives love you. I love you for what you're doing. And the fake you, they love that. They love the version of you that nods at their bullshit initiatives. They love the version that doesn't push back when they slash the maintenance budget but demand that the same production numbers continue. They love the version of you that is so desperate to be liked as a collaborative business partner that you look the other way when sketchy log out, tag out procedures just keep getting the line running. But I want you to remember a quote that was said many, many, many years ago by the lead singer of Nirvana by the name of Kurt Cobain. It's a quote that should be written in permanent marker on a whiteboard of every safety professional on the planet. I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. Corporate America wants to love you for who you are not. They want to love the compliant, emotionless drone. But what happens when you play the character for 50, 60, 70 hours a week? I'll tell you what happens. The airlock completely shatters. Your work life starts actively cannibalizing your personal life. Your personal life starts quietly sabotaging your work. You cannot separate the two. It is the exact same nervous system taking the damage. And let's talk about a guy on the blue line. Let's call him, I'm thinking Van Halen this morning. Let's call him Dave. And Dave is a quite essential, cool safety guy. He never wants to be the roadblock. He wants to operations to like him. He wants plant managers to invite him to the golf outing. So Dave eats the stress. Dave then panicked phone call at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Dave works through the weekend to falsify the optics on a safety audit so that the C-suite doesn't look bad to the shareholders. So Dave is universally loved at the plant. He's the golden boy. But let's follow Dave home. Let's look at the bleed, because that's always important as we do that. Dave pulls into the driveway around 7:30 p.m., completely hollowed out. He has spent 12 hours giving every ounce of empathy, his patience, his psychological energy to a corporation that would replace him before his body was cold if he dropped dead of a heart attack tomorrow. So Dave sits in his truck in the driveway for about 20 minutes. The engine is off. He's staring at the steering wheel, just listening to the silence, because it's absolutely nothing left in the tank for people inside of the house. He is a driveway ghost. When finally he walks through the front door, he isn't the agreeable, smiling guy that he was in the boardroom. He's short-tempered, exhausted shell. He snaps at his wife. He ignores his kids. He drinks half a bottle of bourbon in the garage just to numb the cognitive feelings that he's have of the massive hypocritical life that he's living. His family doesn't get the loved company man. His family gets the collateral damage of that lie. His personal life is a complete clusterfuck because his work life demands a fake persona. And guess what happens next? The bleed reverses. Dave brings that shattered home life back to the facility. He's hungover. He's distracted by the argument that he had with his wife at 6 a.m. His mind isn't on the friction point, and because his brain is actively short-circuiting from the personal trauma that he's trying to suppress. Dave misses a massive red flag on the floor. He misses the frayed ridging on the 10-ton crane lift. The bridging snaps, the load drops, and suddenly 24-year-old kid in a high-vis vest is going home to a medvac helicopter. Why? Because Dave wanted to be liked at work, which destroyed his life at home, which blinded him to the reality on the floor. It is vicious, sociopathic loop. And the only way to break it is to take off the damn mask. You have to stop trading your authentic soul for pizza parties and a pat on the back from the VP that doesn't even know your last name. You have to be willing to be the villain in the spreadsheet.
Duh.
If your kid is sick and you are running on 2 hours of sleep, you don't fake a smile and pretend that you're fit for duty. You walk into the plant manager's office and you say, my personal life is bleeding right now. I am compromised. I am a hazard to myself and this floor. I am going home. Will they like you for that? Hell no. Hell no. They will call you weak. They will say that you aren't dedicated to the mission. They will hate the inconvenience of your humanity. Let them hate you. Seriously, let them hate you. When operations tells you to run the machine with bypass guards to hit a quota, you don't play collaborative partner. You hit the emergency stop button, you lock the machine out, and you look at the production manager dead in the eye. No, not on my watch. Will they like you for that? Absolutely not. They will scream about downtime. They will call you a rogue element. They will hate you for being a friction point. Let them hate you. Because I will tell you this, being hated by a corrupt, broken system for drawing a hard line and protecting human life, inevitably better than looking at the bathroom mirror at 2 a.m. and realizing that you absolutely despise the corporate puppet that you're staring at. I would rather be hated by a plant manager for shutting down a dangerous line than be loved by him for attending a funeral with my mouth shut. I'd rather be hated by executives for clocking out at 5 p.m. to save my marriage than to be loved by them for working myself into an early grave. So, as we wrap this segment up, let me bring the main story for a landing. I want to leave you with this final undeniable truth. The company is never going to love you back. Let me make sure I say that again. The company is never going to love you back. Stop setting yourself on fire to keep the corporate matrix warm. Your family deserves the real you. The worker on the floor deserves the real you. And if the real you, the unapologetic, boundary setting, truth telling version of you makes the C-suite uncomfortable, well, look at it as a good thing. Seriously. And let them be uncomfortable. Let them be furious. Take off the mask. Embrace the hate and finally start doing the job that you were actually meant to do.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
if you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK. In a new episode, Pick the skies, synthetic sun. Every dream's a real and every war's been won. I reach for something that feels alive, but every breath is just a guide. Pull the wire, bend the stream. Nothing's real, just another dream. Fragments of the real, they fade when I touch them.
Okay, some fragments of the real coming your way here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, they all reset when I trust them. Oh, yes. Not downloadable still, so I can't tell you where to find it. But there you go, fragments of the real. This is our number one of the Jay Allen The Morning Show, also referred to as the Rated R Safety Show, as our numero uno. But don't worry. Got a lot of stuff going on. Yep.
Data drips right into the soul.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on still, so there you go. Okay, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to have some options. You'll see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arm. So there you go. Go there. Go to that website. It could change a lot of things for you. No doubt about that. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about a couple of things that we have going up real quick. Here in about 20 days or so, this will be taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's the Conklin Workshop going on with Redonda Voigt, Ann Liren, Brett Sutton, and Todd Conklin talking about doing investigations. They'll be going through a first-hand view of what happened to Redonda Voigt and taking a look at some of the things that you should probably take a look at when you're doing an incident investigation. As you go through that, you'll be able to take a look and say, hey, this works for me, this doesn't work for me, and so on. So there you go, some things to think about as we are talking. So as you take a look around through that whole system and things, make sure that it is something that, makes sense and falls into the category of the stuff that you're looking for. If it does not, maybe it's something that you should revisit, or something along those lines. To find out more information, all you have to do is scan the QR code on the webpage right there, or on the screen, I shouldn't say the webpage. It will take you to safetyfm.com and click on or the section that says live events, or you can just go to the website and do either or. Also, we have another event coming up here at the end of, or the middle of July. And this one we're calling Reality Shift, taking place in Orlando. That's on July the 13th. You'll see Nick Weatherly, Todd Conklin, and yours truly talking about different aspects of what's going on as we can take a look at behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, and take a look at some of the stuff that we call Signal. We'll also do a documentary/movie at the movie theater because, hey, we're at a movie theater that day. That's not going to be at a hotel. This one will be at a movie theater. Would love to see you there for us to sit around, talk about some of the things that is going on. Reality Shift, all you have to do is scan the QR code that's on the site right now. Have you take a look at it right there on the screener. Scan that. It will take you to safetyfm.com right under the section that says live events and tell you everything that's going on. Yes, we are doing that one on a Monday in Orlando. That way you can spend the weekend in Orlando if you so desire to do so. So there you go. Go to safetyfm.com for live events for more information. So, with that being said, I have my friend John Small waiting in the wing. He wants to talk about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute. So, if you're good with this, I'm good with it. Let's go ahead and bring John in and let him tell you exactly what is going on with the Motivation Minute. No, seriously, bring him in. Bring him in now.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Christy. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "You must do the things you think you cannot do." I love that. She also said, "It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan." I can relate to both of these things. I'm working on a community event right now. It's something that happens every year. This year is supposed to be special. We're celebrating the same thing we always celebrate every year, but this year is a milestone year. And I'm working on doing things that we've never done. I'm not wishing for them to happen. I'm planning for them to happen. It takes the same amount of energy to wish as it does to plan, so just set your sights on doing something and finding ways to get the help you need to do these things. And many times, I find that people want to help, but they just need somebody to reach out and invite them. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth declared Tuesday the most intense day of strikes against Iran yet.
Iranian authorities claimed a U.S. missile killed 168 people near a southern school. Residents in Tehran and Karaj spoke of exhaustion from power outages and sleepless nights after 10 days of attacks. President Trump described the conflict as far ahead of schedule, prompting Iranian warnings of severe consequences. Liam White reporting.
Kim Yo-jong sharply condemned the U.S. and South Korea on Tuesday for launching their annual joint military drills.
She warned that any challenge to North Korea's security would bring terrible repercussions. The exercises, called Freedom Shield, involve thousands of troops in defensive simulations. North Korea views them as invasion rehearsals and vows to strengthen its nuclear capabilities in response. Benjamin Wright, reporting.
Federal charges slammed two young men for hurling homemade bombs near New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's residence during heated protests.
The devices packed with nails and fuses failed to detonate but posed deadly risks. Suspects from Pennsylvania admitted watching extremist videos and pledging allegiance to the group. Investigators searched a storage unit as part of the ongoing probe. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Oil prices plunged sharply after spiking above $100 a barrel, driven by the escalating war with Iran that disrupted key supply routes.
U.S. gas prices jumped nearly 50 cents in a week to a national average of over $4. Experts predict sustained high costs if the conflict drags on for months. Global reserves might ease pressure short-term but could falter in a prolonged crisis. Gary Beck reporting.
Travelers endured hours-long security lines at airports across the nation on Tuesday because of the partial government shutdown over Homeland Security funding.
The impasse stems from congressional disputes on border policy and spending. Delays hit hardest in hubs like New Orleans during spring break travel peaks. Officials urged patience while negotiations continue to resolve the standoff. Jessica Oakley reporting.
A jury convicted two prominent U.S. real estate brothers on Tuesday in a high-profile sex trafficking case.
Prosecutors detailed schemes luring victims to luxury homes for abuse.
The brothers face lengthy prison terms at sentencing next month. Victims hailed the verdict as a step toward justice after years of silence. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A Pennsylvania State Police trooper lost his life on Monday night when a suspect opened fire during a routine traffic stop.
Authorities identified the fallen officer as a veteran serving his community. The incident unfolded on a quiet highway in rural Chester County. Investigators are piecing together motives behind the tragic encounter. Sharon Kendar reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Join us on all major social media platforms at We Are Radio Big.
Okay, here we go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's start talking right away about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1918, Moscow becomes the capital of the revolutionary Russia. Back in 1967, Pink Floyd releases their first album. Or their first song, better saying. I said album, but I meant a song. Also, in 1974, Janis Joplin's manager, Albert Grossman, was awarded $112,000 on her life insurance policy. The insurance company argued that Joplin's drug overdose death in 1970 was a suicide, not an accident. So there you go. What else do we got? Back in 1991, Janet Jackson signs a $40 million 3-album deal with Virgin Records. And in 2018, superhero movie The Black Panther becomes the 5th Marvel movie to earn $1
billion.
So there you go. Some things to talk about. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Sam Donaldson turns 92. Mark Metcalf turns 80. Bobby McFerrin turns 76. Jerry Zucker turns 76. Suzanne Richardson, 74. Jimmy Levin turns 73. Let's see. Lisa Loeb turns 58. Terrence Howard, 57. Johnny Knoxville turns 55 today. And Thora Birch turns 44. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Things are getting heated again in the U.S. and Iran. President Trump warned that Iran to expect death and fire and fury if it keeps the strait closed, a move that could choke off a huge chunk of the world's oil supply. During an interview with Fox, Trump also took aim at Iran's newly installed supreme leader, saying that he doesn't believe that the leader will be able to live in peace, and adding that he's not happy about the appointment. Iran fired back almost immediately. Security chief dismissed the president's warning as empty threats and issued a blunt response, telling Trump to be careful not to be eliminated. So there you go. Also, a spike in oil prices could take a big bite of the financial boost Americans were expecting from Donald Trump's major tax cuts. Analysts on the Wall Street say that the jump in energy costs tied to the conflict with Iran may offset much of the extra money people would see at the president's tax plan, known as One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Financial advisors Raymond James says that if oil stays about $20 a barrel higher than they were fighting started, that added cost at the pump could wipe out the tax cut benefits of everyday Americans. Also, what else do we got? The numbers from the war of Iran are starting to come in focus. The Pentagon says that about 140 U.S. troops have been wounded since President Trump launched the strike on Iran on February the 28th. Officials say that most of the injuries were minor and 108 service members have already returned to duty. However, the 8 troops were previously wounded, meaning that their injuries were severe enough to put them at risk. So far, 7 of the U.S. service members have been killed during the conflict. So there you go. Some stuff going on. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, I will be talking about the world of music and entertainment if you go over there. If you don't want to go over there and you want to still hang out here on Safety FM, you can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom for today, try not to listen with the intent to reply. Listen with the intent to understand. So keep that in mind. Also, so if I give you some words of advice, want to improve your memory? Eat blueberries. There you go. That's the trick. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Maybe goodbye. Maybe.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
But they're miracles, leave no trace. I've been uploaded, downloaded, erased, every memory previously replaced. They call it life, but it's just a feed, a loop delusion of want and need. Break the code, taste the spark, see the system in the dark.